The gathering of the team. Awesome. So the key to sustain the success of the Care Ministry Network is the entire team. This is a team effort. So the team of care ministers working together to accomplish the common goal. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? The care ministry is not a solo enterprise. If ever you find yourself functioning in a vacuum, something is wrong. So in our endeavor to develop a strong team spirit and to become more effective in our ministry efforts, there are two immutably essential elements: teamwork and ongoing training. Right there to the side, we see that team acronym. Together, everyone achieves more. So this is a team effort. Even with you having your own groups, we are all still operating as a team. And so you're in it not by yourself, but you have a team of leaders with you. As in the case with most other ministries in a local church, a great positive team spirit must prevail among all those involved in this ministry. This cohesiveness produces results in the congregation that are life-changing and also creates an atmosphere that makes it easy to care for one another. To realize this goal, everyone who is involved must gather for times of fellowship and growth. So this is a team effort. We work together, right? We do ministry. We're doing this ministry together. You have you're going to be working alongside other care leaders. You're going to notice that as you all have monthly meetings, a lot of you are going to have the same questions or similar questions or things that one person may encounter that you can take notes on just in case you encounter it. The whole thing will be a team effort. So ongoing learning on the next page, 48, ongoing training and development are necessary to keep up with the demands of an ever-changing culture. We do not ever want to find ourselves at a point of stagnation. For this reason, specific gatherings are at the core of ongoing development efforts of the care ministry as well as that of the care pastors or care leaders. The prevailing camaraderies, monthly fellowship. Now, this is what we do regularly, and before I even go into it, I learned the hard way after the first year, because we launched in the first year, and we started off great, and then it was, I can't even remember, we're not going to have this monthly meeting because of whatever, and then we meet, and then maybe we didn't have another monthly meeting, and it causes, you lose that sense of unity. It's amazing how not having one monthly meeting makes you feel disconnected from the whole group. I'm just telling you, they are super important. We didn't have so this year, there was only one monthly meeting that we did have, and that was, I think, the month of December. And I felt so distant from all of our care ministers. And I see them every week. I see them documenting in the NoVert software every week, yet not being able to gather and just like this setting, we gather, we are praying together, I'm giving direction, trying to get feedback on any questions or concerns they may have. Just that 1 month, I was like, golly, I feel so distant from them. So the monthly meeting is so important. If at anything, just that unity from month to month is so important. So the prevailing camaraderies, number one, monthly fellowship. The purpose of monthly fellowship is to stay in touch with and learn from one another. This removes the Lone Ranger syndrome. So you want to keep it nice and tight, nice and close. We want to keep this ministry nice and close. And the way that we do that is through these monthly meetings. They're so important. And it builds camaraderie amongst the team as the care director is giving direction, as the floor is open for questions and concerns or testimonies. It's just a way of building and building. And each month you build, and each month you build. Every time you meet every month, it's just you just keep stacking building blocks, and you're strengthening that team. And so, so it's important not only to have it, but it's important for you to show up, right? So whatever day and time that monthly meeting is set for you guys, it's important that you block, that you carve out that particular time so that you can fellowship with the team.
So
we do it on the second Sunday of the month, right before service, 30 minutes. Look, I can't.
So you guys.
I don't know if my wife would even. I mean, and y'all know that if you're involved, because you have families, work, probably other places of ministry that you're involved in or helping. So we try to make things as simple as possible. And so we started meeting 30 minutes before service started. No, yeah, we meet at 9. We end at 9:30. Service starts at 10. So it gives people time to go to the restroom, whatever they need to do, and the service starts at 10. So we found that to work very, very well. It also serves, the monthly meeting also serves to sustain progress within the network among the care shepherds and care leaders. And care shepherds are a part of this meeting as well. The more interconnected the team becomes, the more effective the ministry will function. The monthly fellowship does not have to be lengthy, and sometimes one can hold it around another regular scheduled church meeting, but best practices in this regard are before a midweek service or after the Sunday morning service. So for us, it works good before service, and we meet for 30 minutes. I mean, when we started, I was trying to meet for an hour, and then we were rushing to get into the sanctuary and all that, and just 30 minutes is good, because what you're really doing for that monthly meeting is seeing how everyone is doing. And then the care leaders are really become the front line of communication to the congregation, right? So if you have any events going on that month, or anything going on that needs to be communicated, the care director is giving that direction to the leaders and we got X, Y, and Z going on this month. So make sure that you communicate to your families. So that's happening. I always try to encourage during that time, and I always try to open up the floor for questions, thoughts, testimonies. There was one month that I really felt like we just needed to pray. So we didn't talk about any church business or anything. We just got together and we prayed, we laid hands, and so on and so forth. So really we just being led, as a care director, being led by the Spirit on what's needed for the group. So customarily, the monthly fellowship is a time and place for leaders to update the care shepherds and care leaders of what is happening in the church at large. It is also a convenient occasion to share some of the exciting upcoming things, special events, functions, sermon series, ministry needs. So for us, the monthly meeting is everything. I try not to make it a, compact time of information, but a time of encouragement, just constantly building up. And so, but I find that the monthly meeting builds camaraderie amongst the team the most. Secondly is the quarterly summit. Continuing education is imperative to the ongoing success of the Care Ministry Network, and the quarterly summit serves this purpose primarily. Training and development should be at the heart of the summit. Things change so rapidly, we should stay on top of it. Now, for us, our monthly meetings
is where I have been incorporating training moments. So instead of bombarding our team with, with a whole bunch of things, a lot of times I have something happen, so I have a training thought. Let's do it this way, or think about things like this or that. One of the other churches that we're helping, they recently had like a half-day summit, or I forgot what they called it. But like I was telling you guys, y'all have to tailor it to what works best for you, right? So for us right now, the monthly meetings are sufficient. In the monthly meetings, I'm able to have a training moment. I'm able to encourage. I'm able to have a time of testimony. I'm able to answer any questions or concerns. I'm able to do that in 30 minutes. Now, and again, you're gauging where your team is, because I foresee us doing that quarterly summit, but where we were currently, the monthly meetings have been working best for us, right? So you tailor it to how you need it and to where you are. Quarterly summits is continuing education is imperative to the ongoing success of the Care Ministry Network, and the quarterly summit serves this purpose primarily. Training and development should be at the heart of this summit. Things change so rapidly, we should stay on top of it. One of the things I had been incorporating just for training is I would send videos to our team through email, a quick, thought or a training moment and things like that. So earlier this year, that was something I was doing, sending that.
Do y'all use like Planning Center or anything?
Yeah, PCM.
Okay. So anyway, we have in Planning Center we use just an app to create groups, and we can send videos, and resources, and all that. So,
Yeah. So any kind of resources that you come across for communication, and it's actually one of the things that we're getting ready to do as well, that you guys will wind up having some access to once we get everything rolled out, is how to do certain things, how to do a visit with someone after they've lost a loved one, how to, what does a visit with someone for the first time even look like? What does a bereavement visit look like? What does a hospital visit? What do I say when I go in a hospital to visit someone who is their loved one is unresponsive? What the feelings behind that? I feel like I need to say something. Should I say something? So it's a lot of things that you may encounter that we can really, there's some good training, there's gonna be some good training to be able to hone in on for a circumstance, because you don't know what you don't know, right? You go into a room with someone the room's full of family, and their loved one is like unresponsive, and it's like, God, what did I say? I don't want to say the wrong thing. Should I say something? Should I not say something? Am I being too long with it? And the truth is, we've got responses for that, So that's the type of training that we're working on. But from your own experience, if you have experiences with that kind of stuff already, that's the kind of stuff as leaders that we communicate, whether it be via email, whether it be a short video, or things like that, providing that for the team. So generally, seminar format works best for the quarterly summit, although it's not a requirement of this event. Food always adds an advantage. This meeting usually happens on a Saturday morning in a more relaxed atmosphere, so no one feels rushed. The assembly takes place for only 4 times a year, which affords the opportunity to devote sufficient and quality time for the event. Every care shepherd, care leader, and their assistant should join the quarterly summit to receive further instruction and also to be refreshed for the next few months ahead. Although fellowship time forms a part of the meeting, the teaching is at the core. of this gathering and should remain the focus. Providing meaningful care is time consuming, especially if we purpose to remain relevant. These intentional and deliberate get-together times are the catalyst that keep this ministry dynamic. The care director and the leadership team must set their minds to arrange these, and the care shepherds and the care leaders should make every effort to attend them. To remain commissioned as a care leader, you must attend at least 80% of these events during the year. Now, for our team, I have put the standard for our team is we need to make the majority of our monthly meetings, because if that's what we're making for us, that's our bread and butter. That's our time of unity, and then our family days. When we have our family days, it's that in our monthly meetings. So my encouragement for them is, hey, we make these meetings, we carve out this time, and so our team has been really good for that. So this is important, and it sets the standard. That's more than anything. Launching this ministry in the church, you want to set the standard from the get-go, right? The first year is, because here's the thing, it's hard to retrain people after you've trained them one way, right? So the first year, I was a little bit more lenient, had a few more monthly meetings, didn't have some monthly meetings, and then the next year I was like, no, like, we're gonna meet every month, and like, unless you have to work or you're sick or it's the children or something, we're not just missing meetings for the sake of missing meetings, right? Because we have all committed to do this. Trying to turn that ship was it was a little time consuming to start this last year off, or the ministry year off in last May. But now we're there. But I had to undo the standard that I had allowed to take place the first year. So if you set the standard now and set it here and call people up to a high standard, and they know the standard, and that's going to be the standard. And it's easy to stay there, to just start here and then try to work up here, you know. At least that's from my experience over this last year. So set a good standard for people to attend the meetings. Set a high standard for people to, and when they're reporting and documenting in Notebird what's happening, that's another place to set a high standard, because like I said a couple sessions ago, what's not reported for you, it never happened, right? So if you set the standard now, hey, we document, we report in our Notebird what's taking place within our group, and you set that standard, then everybody knows. Like, it got to the point, I had to watch myself, because I got like real like militant, and I was like, hey, 100%, and they were on it, you know, but you don't want to lose the spirit behind what you're doing. It's not just about 100%. You want to be in the right spirit, and but you want to set a high standard from the meetings to Notebird documentation, all of that. And know this, I'm sure it'll come up, but that Notebird documentation, the only people that see it, so as a care leader, you're documenting on, you met with such and such a person, the only people that will see that is you as the care leader, Pastor Ryan, Pastor Leah, and Pastor Sam. Y'all doing it together? Okay, so the four of y'all. So you know that when you, as a care leader, as you put something, like our team, they know when they put something in Notebird, that myself, Pastor Joe, Pastor Shannon, and our other associate pastor, Pastor Travis, that we see that. That's it. So they can post in confidence knowing that only our pastoral team sees that. Okay. Third, annual celebration. The annual celebration takes place at the end of the ministry year, 1 year after the launch of the ministry, not the end of the calendar year. It then should occur every year after that. The leadership team will set the date. This is a time of celebration with special emphasis on appreciating the workers. Fun and fellowship should be the order of the day. To be sure, the annual celebration is not a time for instruction or education. Now know this, we do 2 family days throughout the year. So for us, that has been that time of celebration, spending time hanging out. And then we do one big training every year. Like we got one coming up in May that we got to start working on. I don't view that as necessarily a celebration, but more of, hey, like this is we're coming back together, we're gonna make sure the main thing is the main thing, right? And we're pushing again the culture of care as a body. And so you have to tailor this to how you want to do it, right? If you want to do a yearly celebration.
Yeah, and we do like a full, like a all church volunteer banquet
Yeah.
celebration every year. So
Yeah.
we just incorporated this into that
Right,
volunteer banquet. Yeah.
right. So,
It's not, you don't have to do a whole separate, you don't have to do any of this. You
Yeah.
tailor it to your needs
That's
and
right.
make it work.
That's
But,
right.
yeah.
number 4, the commissioning service. Now this is super important, like super important. So after the care leaders have completed the qualification process successfully, the lead pastor and the leadership team of the Care Ministry Network officially appoint and publicly introduce them. The lead pastor arranges for this ceremony to take place in the presence of the entire congregation during the commissioning service. It is responsible to assert that commissioning is to a care leader what credentialing is to the clergy. During the commissioning ceremony, care leaders receive an official certificate of completion. And many graduates from these certificates display them proudly in their homes. Like this is something to be proud of. They're serving in the body. Care leader couples receive professional-looking name tags as well. Now, you got to tailor this to how you do it. We don't do name tags or any of that. What we did in our commissioning service, we had some stoles with First Assembly on it. We had a certificate for them of completion. We had our board, elders, Pastor Joe, Pastor Shannon, our leadership team. Like we're all present to lay hands, pray, bless, commission. And I think we actually had our first year we had a separate service. We did a night service just dedicated to that. But you can do it, you can dedicate a Sunday morning to it, you can dedicate a portion of a Sunday morning to it, however you see fit. But the commissioning service is important because you are authorizing these people in front of the body, and they know that these care leaders are representing the lead pastors and this church in providing care. So this commissioning service is super important because you're putting, the lead pastors are putting their stamp of approval. The Holy Spirit has put his stamp of approval, and you're saying, hey, these people are providing care for this body. And so this commissioning service is super, super important. Not just for the care leaders, but for the congregation as well. Awesome. That's the end of me.